May we take the opportunity to remind you to turn off all mobile phones as they can interfere with the sound system. This is an examined performance, so please be respectful of the performance. Enjoy the show.
Alright guys, we're gonna kick things off with a little musical number from me. I know, go. Anyone, just join in if you want to, and hope you guys enjoy. Are those your knickers?
These? No, I'm keeping them warm for a mate.
Having a piss, are you?
What else would I be doing in the graveyard?
I don't know. Maybe popped up to have a chat with your nan?
I'm not gonna piss in a graveyard where my nan is, am I? How fucking disrespectful would that be?
You should have had a piss in the park.
Well, I couldn't, could I, Scott? Because I was dropping off, remember? And the whole point when you strop off is you strop off and you don't come back.
Alright.
When you strop off, it's all or nothing, get me?
Yeah, I definitely get you.
So
valuable
I
lesson,
still
like...
need a Waz?
Right. I'll go. Go.
Wait. While you're here, you might as well do some good. Stand guard.
Okay.
Can you, like, chat or something?
Chat? What?
Don't fucking look at me.
Sorry, right.
I'm just having a little trouble because, you know, you're going to hear me.
When you urinate?
You're just going to hear the little tinkles, you just chat. Now it's chat, don't you, Scott? You open your mouth and shit comes out.
Chat about what?
Anything, I'm not actually going to be listening.
Okay. Nice night.
Is it?
If you're into zombie movies, which I am, probably my favourite supernatural monster, I like the zombie movie played for comic effect in films like Zombieland and Shaun of the Dead.
Thank Christ for that.
Also, if you like the old school killer zombies, for the original George Romero movies, and more recent ones like 28 Days Later. Of course, in 28 Days Later, the most terrifying monster of all is the Army Major, played by Christopher Eccleston, which is like saying, who's the real monster? Society...
Alright, enough.
Okay, good. Because I was wondering on fumes there, not even fumes, I was wondering.
Have you got a tissue or something?
Got a hanky?
What, like a proper one?
Do you need it for your regions?
That will go pissy.
It's my dad's. Got his initials on it.
Well, do you like your dad?
Not really.
Well then.
Fair enough.
Are you going to hand it to me or shall I use the force?
Right.
I could wash it and give it...
No, you're fine.
Alright. Tell your dad I said he's a ledge.
So you want to go back in?
On a mission from Lee, are you?
He's respecting your space.
He's not respecting my space.
He is respecting your fucking space, actually. He can tell by you stropping off that you don't want to be around him. So, obviously, yes, he cares about your fucking happiness and well-being. And he says, Scott, pop along, my shoes are right.
And along your pops, Scotty dog.
Seems that way.
Abandoning your pint.
But down to base bit anyway.
Striding off into the night.
A bit of fresh air is nice.
His bitch.
No, his mate, and I fool you were.
What?
His bitch.
If you'd got that 5 seconds earlier, it might have actually been funny.
Okay, well, anyway, Lee said, are you coming in or what? Because if not, I can just fuck off.
What are you even supposed to be?
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein's all stitched together body parts with a bolt through his neck. I don't really see it.
What you got in there is Frankenstein's monster. I am Professor Frankenstein, the person who created Frankenstein monster.
So that's it. That's your outfit. A white coat.
Okay, what are you dressed as?
A sexy witch.
I know you are a sexy bitch, but what is he dressed as?
That's the second time in 5 minutes you've called me a bitch, Scott. Calm it down.
I did say sexy.
When I first started going out, Halloween in town used to be mental. And now it's people like you.
People like me what?
Ruining it. Just not making an effort. You call that an outfit? It's a disgrace.
Well, if it wasn't for my disgrace, then you still have a pissy mange. So just be grateful.
I cannot believe you just spoke about my minge.
No, can I really?
My pissy
It was just
minge.
words. I weren't like
You
visualizing
sick-
yellow just hanging off your head. Sorry.
What would Lee say if he heard you speaking like that?
I think he'll do the serious voice, where it goes all low and quiet, and then he'll give you the serious look, where he doesn't blink, but he must. And then he'll say, Scott, you're my pal. I love you. Like a fucking brother. But up with that, I will put.
Oh, bloody well think so.
And then after, we'll have a great fucking laugh about it. So, you coming in or what? Oh, wait, actually, wait.
What? What?
That's like a fucking long queue. Maybe a 45-minute, 4-hour queue
queue
there.
for the roof. I mean, obviously we do, but seriously, who the fuck would?
I mean, we could just hang here.
Hang here.
Yeah, hang here for a bit. Till the queue dies down and we could just
Hang
stroll
here
in.
in this graveyard.
Or, I mean, we can queue up for an hour with a bunch of townies and valley commanders.
I do
I
actually
don't-
hate townies and valley commandos. So
She
what?
doesn't.
We just hang here in this graveyard. Happy Halloween. I'd be fucking freezing if I wasn't hammered out of my skull.
Thank Christ you are.
So what if I sober up?
Okay, now. Which one do you want?
All of them?
Okay, wait. Now imagine that I wanted some too. Which one do you want?
Red and yellow.
Strawberry and lime. Excellent choice, madam.
Hang on. These are like test tubes to go with your whole mad professor thing? You actually put some fucking effort in.
Nice that you noticed.
Just not so anyone can see. All they can see is your shit white coat.
Shit, white. Is that like the new shade they're doing in Deluxe now?
That's it. Keep your effort tucked away, hidden, and just be a smug cunt about it, why don't you?
Do you know they're gonna ban these?
Why?
Because they're all curved in the bottom. There's no way of like actually putting it down.
You can totally put it down.
Not without spinning your booty cunt. You have to like knock them back in one go.
And
Encourages binge drinking.
it's not the curves of some test tube that drives me to binge drink.
What does then?
Your face. Besides, what sort of cunt sits there shotting a shot of fruit-flavoured vodka? You chuck them down and get back to your pint, or white wine spritzer. Oh, did that have actual fruit in it? I think I'm having a reaction.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. And don't do that. Don't ask me if I'm alright, it makes you look like a twat. Do you know what I hate? I hate how we can't even go out in our town Friday, Saturday, because you've got all the Valley Commandos coming around and smashing the place up. Like last Saturday, I saw this total fucking roider, tattooed head to toe, muscles like fucking boulders, moustache out the village people taking a shit in the middle of Oxford Street. And do you know what I said? I said to her, love, do you act like that where you come from?
And what did she say?
She just made a series of grunts and animal noises, because that's how they talk. And you know they only come here because we got polls and they haven't.
Apparently they're all going home because of the recession.
Not poles as in plumbers, poles as in dancing. Say you're getting a bit frisky at the end of the night. Here, you jump up on a pole and bust your moves. Down there, they've got to go around a street lamp or something. What?
My mum's from the valley.
Oh. And it's great, all the words she knows.
Also,
now.
it's Friday.
What do you want, the prize?
You said that we can't go out on Friday and Saturday.
Don't
And
do
it's
that.
Friday. And we'll have to do what?
Don't take things I've said and then think about them and then say things about the things that I've said. Because if you do, it's the actions of a cunt.
Alright.
Obviously, we've got to go out Friday, Saturday. It's got to be done. But it's better Thursday, Sunday because you've got the trogs back in their holes.
So then, what's the difference between a townie and us?
I don't know. What's the difference between a townie and us?
No, I'm sorry, I'm not joking, I'm actually asking.
Oh, sorry. Well, a townie is someone who's like always out, like in town.
Wait, we're always out in town.
Yeah, but the townie lives like closer to town than we do.
So if you live closer to town than us, then you're a townie.
Yeah,
If you live further away from town than us, then you're a valley commander.
correct.
Bit random, isn't it?
It's not random. Random is where you pick something, like at random. This is not that. This is just a rule.
Okay, so what if you like...
Just shut up.
Okay.
Cheers.
That, I think you're supposed to say cheers before you drink.
And that's just me, a fucking rebel. Have you got anything else to drink? I bet you have. Come on. You came in prepared. See? I was actually thinking about you the other day.
Yeah?
I was thinking, why doesn't Scott get himself a nice boyfriend? I mean, properly nice, because you know, it's going to be your first time. You don't want some townie cunt leaving you all traumatised. Like me and Lee on my first time. I was really panicky and my head was spinning and I was going to chuck and I thought, shit, I can't stop him now. He's going to go wild. He's going to like hit me or something and it's going to be like a rape thing and I can't hack that, so I'm just going to have to go through with it. And then he stopped. He says, you're all right. I don't say anything, so I'm like on a knife's edge. Right then, I gag. I clap my hands over my mouth and I'm not quite quick enough to stop the first wave of cider wrong from spraying all over him. And does he go wild? Does he fuck? He holds my hair back while I'm chucking up into his mum's U-bend, dabs the strands of sick away from my mouth with pink quilted toilet paper. All this still with a huge hard-on poking out of his boxes. And I'm riding the spasms of puke thinking, please God, please God, please don't let me wee myself as well, because that might be a step too far on a first date. Anyway, in between the wretches I turn, and I look into his eyes, still watering red from the acid in my sick, and I realise it's all right. Lee is a really, really decent bloke. He'll just accept me for who I am. So, I just relax.
You let me go on the shower floor?
And he's fine with it. Puts my pants and the bathroom mat in the wash, lends me a pair of his boxers, even says I look cute in them. He's that lovely. And that's what you want for your first time. Don't go to Soho, because all the Soho gays are hard-faced, body-fascist bitches. That's what my Uncle Teddy says. And don't go with rugby lads, because they're awful rough, and they do get a bit self-hatey afterwards, even with girls. Get yourself a nice floppy-haired boy from, say, St Albans or Hampstead. Someone you actually like, and not just sexually. And you can have a kiss and a cuddle, and he'll get the lube, and he'll warm it up in his hands, and then he'll very gently, very lovingly penetrate your bumhole with a throbbing bell end. Sound appetizing?
I'm not freaked out by the thought. If that's what you're trying to do.
I'm not trying to freak you out, lovely. I'm just trying to help.
Just happen to not be a pup.
This is the 21st century, Scott. It's actually a bit embarrassing to be that repressed. I mean, fair enough in like the 1920s when it was actually illegal.
Wait. Are you serious? Not like fucking around or anything. Do you seriously think I'm gay?
Well, yeah.
I'm not gay!
Sorry, Scott. You're not a complete stomach turner to look at. You're not a complete prick to be with, but you've never been with a girl, ever?
I've been out with Becky last year.
As camouflage for your obvious gay sexuality!
What? So, okay, I don't go out with anyone, so I'm gay. I go out with Becky, and I'm still gay.
You went out with her for like 6 weeks, you did nothing. I love the girl to bits, but she's a fucking whore.
We did a lot.
Yeah, plenty of snogging, plenty of fumbling of the breasted area, but a lot of Cliff's love tits. Christ knows I've caught you looking at my Golden Globes often enough.
All right.
Oh, thank God.
What it is...
Please, stop hiding from the truth.
When I was 12... You listening?
Yeah, I'm definitely...
You sure you 100% want to hear it?
100%
Okay.
listening, yeah.
When I was 12, I found out I had a sexually transmitted disease.
Oh. Wait. Sorry. You're a virgin.
Yeah, except to my pillow, yeah.
How does a person who's never had sex get a sexually transmitted disease?
Do you know you could be born with STD?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that actually. But, you know, I didn't pass sex education class. That's probably why I've had a few STDs.
I'm being serious, like, this was a serious fucking trauma in my life. Like, I truly believe there was something wrong with me. And I knew that if ever a girl was to fish out little Scott from the light, they'll take one look, scream, vomit, all over little Scott, and then scarp her. So, I decided that I will not date anyone, and I would have to die alone and a virgin.
That is so sad.
Thank you.
Sad as in pathetic? Because then you did actually go out with Becky, so what's the story with that?
The thing with Becky was, right, that's it. She came around mine with a bottle of wine, and she was looking like not too much in show, but like everything was quite tight. So you had so you had a good idea of what was on the offer. And then she came up to me and she said, I know you're loving your music.
But have you got time for a mistress?
What, sorry?
I was actually really proud of her coming up with that, because it was actually Rachel's dress she was wearing, the bodycon one, and we thought, should we go with cans, because you're more of a lager drinker? But we ended up going with a bottle of wine, you know, bit of class. We're girls, Scott. We talk. I knew all of that already. So, you haven't got an STD now then, right? Why?
Basically, Becky's round mine and she bought this magazine, and I'm taking a crafty look because it's a magazine about modern women. And most of it is saying how modern women needs to be that really filthy shag, otherwise modern men will piss off and find themselves that bit sluttier woman. And obviously, I'm finding this quite educational. So, and then I come up with this article that I come across, and it's about genitals. Genital do's, don'ts, foibles, features, uses, and varieties. And reading it, I realized that the thing that I thought was weird and wrong is actually completely normal. There's nothing wrong with little Scott.
And the story with Becky is...
Oh, the thing with Becky was, the reason why I went out with her is because I knew I could say no. Like, if she ever wanted to do it, I could tell her no, and then there'll be no problem. If she was nice to me, that was quite nice. Well, if she was pissed off at me, that was alright, but I knew I had to go out with someone that I could say no to, because I was, well, contaminated. And then I realized I could go out with anyone, like someone I actually liked. So I dumped her.
When you say then, you mean...
Yeah, that day.
Oh my god.
It's like pulling off a plaster. Do it quick,
You're a
without thinking
fucking
about it.
psychopath!
Huh? Sorry, what?
You're on about dumping Becky?
Yeah, dumping, not killing and
You're
dismembering.
on about dumping my best friend like it was nothing.
Not nothing.
Was she
It's just-
upset?
Yeah, of course.
Did you give a top?
Yes, but you go out with people, at some point, it's gonna end.
Oh my god. Have you ever thought about becoming a relationship counsellor? Or like a religious leader? Because honestly, that is so much insight. You've changed the way I look at the world forever.
I'm just saying, relationships are gonna end. So someone's gonna end them.
Alright. Okay. One time, me and Lee were having an argument.
About what?
And I said it was over.
You finished
I
with him?
said I was finishing it with him. Because I was pissed off.
Yeah.
And he folded up and like all the bones had come out of his body and he was rolling on his back and grabbing his guts, like it actually physically hurt. And I thought, wow, this is what love is.
Is it?
Well, I thought this guy properly loves me and I had no idea until I saw him choking too much to even cry.
Fucking hell.
Breathe a word and I will slice you up. Lee loves me so much He literally can't go on without me. That's why he sent you after me. He gets scared when I get angry, because
You might finish with him.
only out of anger, not for real. But when I do get angry, he runs off, or I do, and he never comes after me. He doesn't dare. But he sends his puff pal after me to keep an eye out, because he's that much of a sweetheart.
I never knew you two ever broken up.
We didn't.
Yeah, but for a bit.
For like 10 seconds, yeah.
I never knew you two even argue. You always seem like just happy.
And that shows how much of a twat you are. Everyone argues.
I wouldn't know.
It's part of a healthy relationship.
It didn't seem healthy when my dad and mum argued.
Well, there's healthy and unhealthy ways.
And you and Lee argue in healthy ways?
Yeah.
How do you know the difference?
Well, your dad used to smack your mum about, right?
Yeah, he did.
Well, that seems pretty fucking unhealthy.
So you and Lee argue a lot then?
No.
Yeah, but every now and again.
Yeah?
Like how much?
Like a normal amount.
Like every week, every day, every
Oh
hour?
my god, it doesn't matter how much we argue. They've done research, and there's a ratio. For every act of anger, 5 acts of kindness. And it shows that it doesn't actually matter how much you actually argue. As long as you make it up with at least 5 acts of kindness, you're alright.
Where do you read that? On the web?
On the web and an actual book by an actual psychologist. Actually, it's like a known issue. Actually.
So these actual psychiatrists say that you could be arguing up to 10 times a day, but as long as you are nice to each other 50 times a day, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And was that quite reassuring to find out?
If anything, it makes the relationship stronger.
I mean, fair enough. So you and Lee do argue a lot then?
Look, it's a very passionate relationship. I wouldn't expect you to understand. We fight, and then we make up. And we're very nice to each other. Very, very nice, if you get me.
I definitely get you.
I wouldn't think you do, virgin.
So what about when Lee goes off to uni?
Well, obviously that will be different, because, you know, we'll be doing different things, meeting different people, you're going to change.
Are you?
Well, he is, I'm not the one going.
And then
what?
and then he might find someone else.
Well, there's a possibility, yeah.
Are you? And you?
Well, I'd be gutted, obviously.
Do you think it will happen?
Well, you don't know, do you?
I mean, you kind of do. Like if you look at everyone who goes off to
I
uni,
know.
usually
They split up.
yeah.
And I'm ready for that, if it happens. If.
I mean, it will happen. Happens to everyone. Like I can't think of anyone who's actually stayed together. If you look at everyone's brothers and sisters of everyone you know, then you. Never mind. Maybe you might be the first.
Maybe.
I think you will actually.
I think so too.
Tell you what. It is a bit weird though.
What?
You just now saying how you nearly finished with Lee and how you nearly had a fucking mental breakdown right in front of you. And then you talking about Lee going off to uni and finding someone else.
I said I'd be gutted.
You did. You said that. Very calm, very cool. The thought didn't seem to bother you.
News just fucking in, Scott. There's a difference between saying things and thoughts. Obviously, if Lee went off to uni and found someone else, I'd be fucking in bits.
Obviously. Be a bit of relief though. Not having to keep a total tally of all the nice things you're doing.
All that matters is that Lee is happy. And if that ends up with being with someone else, then fine.
You are saying some very complicated things about my best friend.
Feelings are complicated, Scott.
I think Lee's feelings for you are very simple. Alright then.
Where are you going?
Lee loves you. And he thinks you love him in a very uncomplicated way. And if you don't, then he deserves to know
Alright.
that.
Let's cool it down, shall we?
I'm as cool as I need to be.
Just
Thank you.
listen to me for 1 second, please.
I'm listening.
Look, most of the time, I feel like I love him. Like, if something bad happened to him, I'd die. And then, sometimes,
Sometimes you hate the fucker.
yeah. Because who even knows? How do you actually know when you love someone?
I mean, that's what they say in films. When it's true love, you just won't know either way.
That's not what they say in the films.
What do they say then?
They say when it's love, you'll know.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck them. Fuck films. Lee is so lovely. He's been so lovely to me, and I'm gonna stay with him and give him everything I can. Or you could go and tell him now and break his heart. For what? Nothing. Just to be a cunt.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Makes sense. I'll keep it shut.
Promise?
Yeah, for definite.
What?
I love how everyone thinks Lee's this fucking angel.
He's not an angel. He's just nicer than you, for instance.
It's not fair on what you are doing. It is not fair on Lee. You're stringing him along. It's not fair on you. You're with someone you don't love. And it's not fair on me.
On you.
Because I love you, Catherine.
Oh.
And oh my days, it feels so good to finally say that. I want you. I want all of you. I want you now and I want you forever. Actually, I want you now and I want you forever. That's not the shit. That's because there's a line I came up with Cash knows how many years ago, and imagine myself saying it to you one day. Now that I do it, it's fucking lame. What I'm trying to say is, the reason why I've never been out with anyone is not because I'm diseased, it's not because I'm a puff, it's because I've always wanted you. No one else is worth the effort. And I would never let you run into the night because I was scared you were gonna dump me. I would always be there, making sure you were alright. And actually, you know, I don't care about getting my heart broken because I would spend a day, an hour, a whole fucking second just to be with you, even if it meant being heartbroken for the rest of my life. And I know I'm not good enough for you. You are so amazing.
I'm not amazing.
You are amazing.
How?
I mean,
How am I amazing? Give me one reason.
I don't know where to start.
Okay.
Look at you. You're a sexy witch. You're magic. You're gorgeous. You're amazing. And maybe people in this fucking stupid town don't get it, but I do. I see how amazing you are, and I just hope that whatever happens, we stay friends, always. I want to be there to see what amazing things you're going to do in your life. And like I said, I know I'm not good enough for you, but being with you would make me better, would make me a better man for you every fucking day. I love you, Captain. I love you. And it feels so good to finally say it.
It's like looking down the barrel of a gun and it goes off.
Oi, Cat! Yeah? Cat, you're on? Now or never? Come on, get over always hurt the one you love. Look at you. Look at all of you.
Mom,
Look at their faces.
she gets angry sometimes after a drink. Not a lot you can do, just have to ride it out.
You're waiting for things to go back to normal. Who's next? Mags, do you want to have a go?
Mom, calm it down.
Mags, you'll do a song. Everyone else has.
Normal's gone now. Wave it goodbye. Come on, wave with me. Let's all wave goodbye to normal. Bye bye. Bye bye. What? I'm joining in.
Did it bring us closer? No. Then yes for a bit, then no for a long time. Then yes, eventually.
The first thing they do when something like this happens, They look at the family. What were the circumstances? Alright then.
I know it's gonna be horrible. Hope it's gonna be worth it. Love, Scott. Kiss, kiss.
People say to me sometimes, Mads, how come you stuck up the husband for so long? I'd say, well, he was funny, always telling a joke, always raising a smile. People would say, what kind of jokes, Mads? Well, he'd say, I'd call my wife Treasure because she looks like something you dug up. He'd say, I'd call my wife the Queen because she looks like a bloke in dress. He'd say, I'd call my wife Pumpkin because I like to take the tip of her head off, scoop out the implant for soup, and stamp on her face for how I should be. And I'd fall for a silver tongue.
Message 1 of 45. Home in 20. Can you put the oven on? Maybe chuck some burgers in?
People say, do they know Mads, your kids? Do they know what a bastard he was? Why don't you tell them? You should tell them. They've got the right to know. Not a chance. Them kids don't get much, but what I can, I give them.
Mom, there's nothing in.
And what I give them is nothing compared to what they give me.
There's nothing in for tea, Mom.
That was his favourite thing after he passed his test. He could bond down the beach in the dead of the night, walking in the waves, looking at the deep dark sky and the cold lights of all them stars. Absolutely loved it.
Cat, just call if you need me.
He'd always go on about how much blacker the sky was and how much brighter the stars was, just those couple miles out of town.
We ate Tuska's tutu. Derivative from those last couple hours can't say too much about, except spend the past on a lamp of a teardrop or something. He kept the drink coming while his ring, middle and index finger, did the old up and down, up the skirt, down the thigh to his name was Scratch, and I leaned and I said, what was your daughter's name? Because maybe I know her from school or something.
It's happening now. It's happening with you.
Just let me know how it went.
Lee ran, jumped in this minute, and he was gone. I am never going to be free of this.
I was walking home, I had his flip-flops on, because of the heel of my shoe came off. I remember the step I took wrong, off the curb outside the roots. And I thought, fuck, I broke my ankle, but then I realised it was my shoe! They were broken. And I even thought it was bleeding, but it was not. Later here, I thought that was so stupid, because I didn't really care, and I chucked it into the bin.
I love you. I can't believe I finally get to write that.
Later I thought, that was so fucking stupid. Because you can get your heel fixed. Later again someone said, oh Bex, look, your foot's bleeding. And it was like from a glass or something somewhere. And there was this red triangle following me around, showing me where I've been.
Here's one thing that kills me. Here's what just kills me. All that night I was planning and worrying about the electric was gonna go off. I had 200 in the token and I put it through, but the bastard didn't work. And then the bloke in the garage said to me, can't help you love, you put it through, I can see the mark. So all I could do was buy another token and hope that one would work. And all I needed for that was money.
Message 6 of 45. Yes, of course, you only told me like a million times.
And then I'd been through the house like a robber and turned up maybe 80 pence in change. But then I found a scratch card he'd given me on Mother's Day. And there's nowhere open I can collect on a scratch card, but he back to his garage, shots at 10. And so I'm into the bells and I'm asking Hugh, not for a lend, but for a swap. Because a winning scratch cards basically like money in hand. But Hugh...
Mom?
Cat, just give me a call.
Mom, there's nothing in.
You're alright.
So do you want some chips with yours?
And I'm telling you now about him. And it all comes over me. The memory of him. How can it be when I'm remembering him? Even when I'm remembering him.
Mom, there's nothing in. Shall I go get some chips?
I hear the couple over the road. Ken and Jan. Lovely, both of them.
Mom,
Ken's a bit older.
do you want some chips?
Bex, love. Get chips. Actually, don't get chips. What the fuck you asking me for?
Because you know the street passes. If you've been out here, you know. I was always for the street pass with a bunch of cunts really, because they're in the street pass gang with the street pass and anoraks on. Like they're so fucking pleased with themselves. And they look at you and they think you are stupid drunk slag. But then I went up to them, gave me some chat and I said, I broke my shoe and I chucked it into the bin and now my foot's bleeding. And they gave me these flip-flops for nothing, just handed them over to me, and I thought, yay!
Blessed. God bless you.
Thank you. I was walking home with the flip-flops on, all squishy under my feet, and I'm thinking, don't worry, really, the shoe customers. I mean, it's so fucking sad that people have nothing else to do than chop around on a town on a Saturday, not even getting drunk. Fair play, I was wrong about that. And then I saw a police car, and the ambulance, and I thought, nothing, because where would they have a night here not see a police car ambulance? Fucking never swear.
Cat, just give me a call. Someone said something a bit weird.
I saw the police car and the ambulance. They were going to him, and I didn't think because I was just so pissed.
I come away somewhere around 4:30 when I hear Lee starts his mini and the headlights flick full on. And everything in the lounge is white light or dark shadow. Then Lee pulls away and the dark takes to him again. And out the window I see Captain on the pavement crying, and I think, good for you, son. I know.
I put a couple of painkillers to fizz in a pint of water, took them down in 6-7 burger gulps, and I must have fell asleep like that. And when I woke up, I got my phone, hoping I got a message from the guy I snugged between Tuskers and Ruth. And there was a message, but from my mum, saying, Lee's dead. And I thought, fucking brilliant! Because I thought she meant he'd done something and she was finally totally going to kill him.
Okay, panic's over. He's alright.
He came off in the lane on the way to Southend. Wasn't wearing a seatbelt, was trying to clear out the vehicle. Apparently a taxi came past only minutes after, but apparently the taxi driver didn't see Lee and reported the car crashed and abandoned. The dispatcher assigned it a low priority, and it being a Saturday and the emergency services tied up dealing with 20,000 drunk bastards in town, it took the police 2 hours to get around to checking it out, once they were actually in attendance at the scene. Apparently it took them 30 or so seconds to find my son. One officer began to administer emergency first aid while her partner waited for an ambulance. They say he was probably unconscious for those 2 hours. They say like it should be comfort. Better him be unconscious than lying there hurt and alone.
He's at casualty in the hospital. He's gonna be alright, but please call. I don't want anything. I just want to look after you.
And that night, that last night, those last hours and minutes when my son was alive, and all that fuss about the fucking electric.
Half asleep, I'm thinking, say something really happens. No way you would just say Lee's dead. You say something more to make it better.
And that bloody taxi driver. If only he just got out. If only he just looked.
Oh God.
For what?
I hope he feels that shit. I'm not being funny, but I mean that.
Well, what can you say?
Cat, I just heard.
And if I could run about like a nutter, why couldn't I run out of the house and throw myself in front of his car? Grab a knife from the kitchen and slash his tyres? Those are mad things I could have done that would have saved him.
Message 19:45. If you're in Boots, can you give me some deodorants? My pits are hanging.
I went to my room like a naughty child. Mum brought me cream of tomato soup and scrambled eggs on toast. Food for when you're sick. She didn't come in, she just knocked and left the food on the landing. After 3 days I checked my phone and it was full of more messages than it could take. Messages like,
I want to be here. I'm here. I'm here for you. Just call, just text, just
saying
I'm here.
sweet and useless things.
I remember staring at my ankle once. This was the age of 10, this was. The veins are just so close, just below the ankle bone. And sometimes you can see a pulse. See it? Have a look now. See it? The blumping under the skin. It's barely nothing. It's you. Because if that stops in you too. And I couldn't get my head around it. Everything I think, everything I say, everything I wish I'd done will get swiped out. I remember the first time I'd done it, and the guy saying it feels so good being inside you, and I thought, alright mate, you got what you wanted, so give the cheese a chat and rest, why not? But then I thought, hold on, you're not inside me, you're just in my body.
The pinging stops. They switch off the machines. You're waiting for him to cough, for his eyes to open, for the nurses to call the doctors, and the doctors start bang, bang, bang on your chest. But you can look head into time and cast your man back and say, that was a close one, son. You had me bloody worried there. But these things you're waiting for don't happen. A nurse brings you tea, and they get on with tidying up, tidying away, tidying around you. And you wonder what it is that's wrong, what it is that's bothering you. And it's the clock ticking on the wall, when it should have stopped. And every tick is taking you further away from when your son was last alive.
Message 20 or 45. And now I'm sorry.
He didn't tell. I saw his mum and
You said you and him had a fight, and he wanted to see you, see if you could make it up.
He was gonna use it. Drips in his arms and machine pinging away his heartbeat. He was planning on how he would guilt you into going back out with him. And I'll never say this. If things were normal, if this was a normal situation. But it's true. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, actually.
He softened me for definite, because I would never say things like poo or doo-doos. Thought it was pathetic, a grown-up saying poo. I'd call a shit, never a number 2. But then he was born and I knew I couldn't say, look, he's still got shit in the fat fold of his thighs. Best give him another wipe. Couldn't do it.
Mom, do you want some chips?
he was forgiving me. Was he? He was letting me off. Was he? That's why I didn't tell everyone what a fucking bitch I've been. Wasn't it?
Or, and I'm just putting things as another way of thinking of things. Say he plowed into a gang of kids whilst walking home from town. Say he killed one of them. We'd be thinking, selfish cunt. Well, I'm thinking it now, letting you off. Like, fuck.
She went to pieces. I mean, of course she did.
It wasn't up to him to let you off, selfish cunt.
Mom, do you want some chips?
In the olden days, they used to have loads of kids.
Should I get you some chips too?
I always thought in the olden days they had loads of kids because loads of kids died. They wouldn't have a few left to look after when they're going on. But that's not it. In the olden days, they used to have loads of kids because when one dies, it's the others that keep you going.
I'm going to get you some chips.
And on the third day I got up and I met up with Scott and we got drunk, obviously.
Shall we?
Do you wanna?
I mean, you know, is this the moment?
What else is at the moment for Scott?
I don't. Okay, we could do whatever you want. We could drink more, watch a film.
Watch a film? Do I want to sit here and watch a fucking film? Do you fucking think?
We could do whatever you want.
I can't do what I want, Scott.
What do you want that you can't do?
I want to make it not have happened. I might need a bit of space for a bit.
Is that truly the best thing?
Yes, it is.
Is that the best thing for you to be on your own?
Yes, it is.
I could just be here
Yes,
with
it
you, not
fucking
saying
is the best thing to be on my own, alright?
It's happening now. It's happening again.
We used to go out for chips every dinner time. One day he said, do you go on after you die? Was that it? Once you're gone, you're gone. And you said it would be handy to know either way, but so far no one in history has figured it out yet. And then you said, well then boys, looks like it's down to us. We decided that whoever should ghosted first should return, and using our poltergeist powers should turn on the light on 10 o'clock on the 10th, precisely. All the 10s, you said. Never gonna forget that, are we? We spat in our hands and shook. I shook Welly's hand. Welly shook Rob's hand. Rob shook Hubert Arthur's hand. Hubert Arthur shook yours, and you shook mine. Sharon spit around the gang, sealed our oath that on the 10th at 10, we would all be on lookout for a message from the dead in the dying of an electric light. And then we had to finish our chips with the wrong hands because our right hands were covered in spit.
Message 29:45. Thanks.
I would pray for disaster. Every night the news would answer my prayer. Have you seen this, love?
What's that, Mom?
Galaxia breaks from Antarctica where the global warming feels.
Do you want to eat chips today?
I lapped it all up because my son lived 17 good years and died just in time to miss the end of the world. That would make sense.
And yeah, that first year, on the 10th of the 10th at 10th, I was on lookout. Of course, I told myself I was honouring him, remembering him. I sat with every light in the house blazing, and I waited for my spit brothers to show. After waiting for quite some time, none of us had said, but I talked to him, Welly, and Rob, and they all done the same. My sister said, you will get a message from him in the end. Of course you will. She said, if you wait enough years, one of you might have a bulb go or a fuse blow, and maybe it won't happen at 10 o'clock, but at 10 too. But does that still count? Because it was all about the 10s. You'll get your son if you sit tight till it comes. But I sort of think, I sort of thought, if maybe a bulb goes or a fuse blows at the exact right time you're waiting for a sign, then that would be a sign, wouldn't it? Like if now we say it's 10 o'clock and 10th for the 10th for the 10th, but let's say we're pretending. I know we're not, but let's say we are. And they go exactly at this time, then that would be something. They'll tell us something. Or if the lights go off because someone tripped over a wire or pressed the wrong button, then that would be something. That would be something for definite.
Message 36:45. Sunday.
The funeral. Well, at the funeral, you know what happens. But then you hear people when they lose someone, they keep their rooms the same. So I've done that for a while. But now it's like a room that no one lives in. And every time I look at it, I can't help but to think, what must be happening to his beautiful body down there on the ground?
I'm going to go get some flowers. Do you want to, you feel like coming?
I decided to be normal, like things were normal. I pulled open the curtains, pushed open the window, started gathering up the t-shirts, socks and boxes, and I'm 2 steps away from the washing machine. And
You can't tell, like mostly, those first 4 months she's just very tired, didn't wash, didn't eat, but then one day I come home and I see her ordering these like JAL vacuum bags she's seen in telly and she's really high.
they've got an airtight seal.
Alright Mum, I understand, but what do you need a bag with it alright for?
For this.
She had a spin bag tied on top with all these dead clothes in.
Now of course the JML vacuum bags are protected. If we get the bin bags, we'll be able to look at the clothes better, keep them sealed so they won't lose the smell. And I was so close to washing them.
Alright, like I said, some progress, but then sometimes back to steps zero.
And it was the 3rd year after Lee died, a message finally came through. There was a lamp on the table next to me, and at 10 o'clock, on the 10th of the 10th, I realized the bulb was flickering. And it occurred to me that if you could slow down time, what looked like a flicker would actually just be the light going off and on, just like really quickly, like 2,000 times a minute. And then I realized I didn't need to slow down time, because I realized that I could see quick enough to count the flickers. I realized that the flickers were a form of Morse code. So I sat there, stared at the bulb for maybe 2.25 hours till I was sure that I had the patterns of the flickers right. Then I sat there for the rest of the night on the net, deciphering the message, and what the patterns of the flickers said was, mate, when you're gone,
You're fucking gone.
Message 45, message 40. Okay, you're forgiven. But I'm going to do some nasty stuff to you later. Kiss, kiss, leave. Message 41, Mom, I think I sent you the wrong message. It was meant for Cat. Really, really sorry.
I didn't leave town. It wasn't like a big deal, Katrin leaves town. I went to stay with my dad. And that was easier for me. Because here you have everyone putting on their sad faces and watching what they say. And it's easier to not deal with that. And of course I came home to see Mum. I just didn't go into town. I didn't really call anyone. And that was easier for me. And soon enough people stopped calling me anyway, so it seems like it was easier for them as well.
I talked to one of the counsellors, Chris, for Bavarian. I told them what she's like and they said, yeah, that's normal, which didn't fucking help. I said, so when is she going to get any better? They said, you can't expect any improvement within the first year. I said, are you fucking kidding me? They said, the first year is just reminders. Like the first birthday without him, first summer, the first Christmas.
The first breath,
And all of these really big markers.
the first night, the first morning.
You can't help but think this was the first time we've done this without the person being here. And it makes sense if you think about it.
The first time you fill the kettle for the first cup of tea. The first time you take his rubbish out and there's no volcano of crap spilling from his bin. The first time the light bulb goes and he's not there to touch the spare from the top of the cupboard. The first time you get an official letter for him and you have to phone them up. The time you realise letters for him have stopped. The first time someone goes, how many kids have you got? And without thinking, you get the answer wrong. The first time the snow falls and you think he loves snow now, just like he did when he was a little kid. And you hope he'll never lose that, no matter how old he gets. The first time you see the stars. The first time you see the stars. On any particular night.
Message 45 or 45. Yeah, we'll do. See you later.
The first time someone goes, how many kids you've got, and without thinking, you get the answer right.
So I didn't expect her to get any improvement with the first year. I shouldn't.
The first time you get a new phone,
You could just copy them out.
it's not the same.
How is it not the same?
I can't carry bits of paper around with me.
But obviously you can.
I want them on my phone, so I can read them on my phone. I'm not getting on the bus, getting bits of piece of paper out like I'm some admin.
Okay, so what do we do?
I forward the messages to you, then when I get the new phone.
Are they not on the sim anyway?
Are you trying to finish me off? Are you? When I get the new phone, I forward them back to me.
I spent a night sending my mom 45 text messages from my dead brother, her dead son, and there was a lot of that kind of sort of things.
Thank you. Thank you for being a help.
Afterwards, they gave us his stuffs back, stuffs from the car, and a lot of tape players because there was only tape players in a bus radio. Dad left us thousands of tape players, and there were some alright ones. Lee drove us to South End, and we sang all these old dad songs from Dad.
You used to be a stranger. Now, you are mine.
The conversation's sailing off, and I let it die, and she's still standing there, getting a bit nervous, looking around, glancing at the bar, glancing back to me, down to the pub's TV. Suddenly, transfixed by the subtitling on Sky Sports News, I leave it all till it hurts. And then I say to her,
I start seeing this girl, and usually with people you wind round to a conversation about history. Who was your first? How did it go? How did it end? There was none of that with her.
I say,
What the fuck you doing? Still talking to me for?
She's a bit of a prick, to be honest.
99 girls out of 100, you hit them with a line like that, and they're gonna run. But you know what? I've had 99 girls out of 100, including your sister, your girlfriend, and your mum. And I'm bored with them. I'm well past it. I want that one girl who can look right in the eye and say,
The fuck you doing? Still talking to me?
and she'll stand there and take it, because that girl will take anything.
Actually, she's a total prick. But a prick is all I can handle, so fair enough.
I'm going to ruin you. I'm going to ruin you for all other women. Because after you had a night like we're gonna have tonight, you are never gonna be satisfied with any other fuckers ever again.
We get back to mine, and she collapses, spark out.
You might think talking the big talk and doing nothing makes me look a twat. But actually, you're the twat. You're the kind of bloke whose girlfriend I brutally shag while they're off on some fucking stag do. Because falling asleep on her toilet floor is an assertion of dominance.
I am changed my mind and tell her I've got my period, and she says we could just cuddle, couldn't we?
1 second you're all, I'm gonna put whatever I want in whatever hole I want, and you're gonna love it. Next second it's, can we have a little cuddle? They never know what they're gonna get. Keeps them on edge.
I lean in and kiss her hard, bang my teeth on her lips and push my tongue right to the back of her mouth. She staggers back, looks a bit bewildered.
I wake up on the sofa and there's a torn up page of Cosmopolitan. A viral score says where we are and gives an address, a little map showing the nearest bus stop and a phone number. The phone number is crossed up. Next to it, the message, don't call, which means do call. So I don't. So she calls me. Of course she fucking does.
And one of those days, things are rattling around my head. I call her, and at the end of the night, the bouncers are circling. We head off to the next place, or maybe home. And I realise I've left my scarf behind and the pub is locked up.
Now you, in that situation, you'd probably be like, oh, I'll buy a new scarf for you. And you'd think you're being a smooth fucker. But you know what you are actually? You're a domestic contents insurance policy. Boring!
I hear her touch down in the beer garden, run inside the pub, bouncers shouting, and then,
Got it!
she scrambles back up the beer garden wall, my scarf streaming from her hand, and she jumps.
It's not like this. It's all about showing a girl that you're not like anyone she's ever met before. You're spontaneous, wild, uncontrollable. Time spent with you will always be an adventure.
She flips midair and comes down sideways and screams. I've never heard anyone scream like that before, but apparently it really, really hurts when you break your pelvis.
And I can tell you, it definitely does hurt, yeah.
Do you know what kids do to remember him?
We'll come back on Halloween for Lee's memory.
They go on the piss, obviously.
We'll do it every year. We'll come back on Halloween or the weekend after and me and Jaggers.
It's the 5th year when they start making excuses. 5 years and every fucker forgets.
They don't forget.
They don't forget, but the memory isn't enough to move them anymore.
And first there's the ambulance, and then the paramedics, and then the doctors, and then the nurses, and then they send the prick home.
Jesus Christ, talk about disco damage.
So, give me a ring. Do you need anything?
What? Are you going? Did you just shrug at me? I can't walk, I can't do anything, and you're just shrugging at me?
Did you want me to do something?
Yes!
What is it then?
I thought you was gonna,
No, I don't.
look after me.
Did you?
Well, duh.
Why is that?
Because you and me were
It gets so that sometimes I go into the toilet and just pretend to be having a dump so I can get a few minutes away from her. And then I hear her voice. I
Catherine!
get to know the way she says my name. With the rin bit rising at the end, I know it, and I hate it. Because it means another fucking thing she wants doing. And when I was little, I remember thinking love was this fluffy cloud, this feeling, just being really happy all the time. But lying on that cold, damp, slimy bathroom floor, wanting nothing more than just to be allowed to stop. And there was this space inside of me where all the lovely, fluffy feelings should be. And as the weeks went by, I realised this space was filling up. There was this hard and heavy feeling in my guts, and this hard and heavy feeling would not let me walk away.
I learned that sofa, felt all those hours going to nothing as my body turned pale and soft. Nothing existed outside that living room. On telly, I watched any live event I could find. Volleyball, horse racing, tennis match. just to reassure myself that there was still a world out there. And Catherine...
Catherine! Cat!
Yes, alright.
Catherine! I was calling and calling.
Sorry, I needed it done.
Right. Okay then.
Apparently it was only a couple of months. Felt like forever. And then she had to learn to walk again.
Okay, let's do this.
And I would watch her
Fuckity fuck!
in agony.
Bollocks and bollocky shit!
And obviously
Bum titties poo bitch! Can I stop?
just do one more set.
The physio said do them twice a day.
And
That'll be the 10th time. Do I do them again?
don't you want to get better?
Of course.
Go on then.
Once I got my legs back, I wanted to use them. I went back to the gym once or twice. It was lifting these metal blocks up and down. I wanted to be out, going around to everything, looking through the world, pushing through streets, down parks, and made it to the barrage today.
Is it?
Am I babbling? I'm babbling, aren't I? It's these fucking endorphins.
What?
This is you. This is all you've done, and I don't mean just the boats.
Just give me a sec, yeah?
Cat?
I'm just popping to the shop for some milk.
And I thought that was a bit weird. And then I heard her car door opening. And I thought, well, she's obviously not going to the shop. I heard her car start. It's happening now. I sat down and I thought, well, fair enough, I see your point. It's happening again. And then I was up. And I was out the door, and she was already at the end of the road, indicating left. I tear down there, out the window. People coming out the shop, looking at me like I'm fucking nuts. She turns, her eyes are just, what? What? Come back, please, Cat. Let's just talk about it, can we? She turns away and pulls away, she's going. She's just gone. I can watch her for maybe half a mile. Not even rushing, not even going fast. Just getting away from me.
Just not gonna eat nothing then, Mom.
What?
Look how thin you've gone. Look at the veins in your hands.
What about them?
Look at me. Look at my hands. Look at my veins. You can't see them. Look at yours.
I've got to have my hands as well.
I'm saying it because look how thin you've gone. You're basically starving yourself. No wonder you feel like shit.
That's why, is it? That's why I feel like shit. Because I'm not eating. I wish.
Oh, Mom.
I wish it was that.
And you did eat, actually. I seen the wrappers. Dairy milk, wagon wheels, and a box of naughty cheese you get from paper shop. You did eat. And you must. So why pretend like you don't?
My son.
Yes.
My son.
No.
He doesn't eat.
No.
So how can I?
Because you must.
How can I?
Because you
How can
Because
I?
you want to. Because he's dead what you want to live.
No, I bloody
But
don't.
you must do. You must. Why pretend like you don't? I've seen the wrappers.
Some guy in the club tells me that people are only really dead once they've been forgotten. Pretty sure he was a Doctor Who fan, but all the same, I sort of knew what he meant. Like, I try and keep Lee in my head. I try and have conversations with him. And the thing is, it gets boring. Like, I've got mates who've been 25 since before 9/11, and Lee is forever 17. He has no opinion on any major world events of the last few years. Doesn't think there'll be a black president. Has fuck all to say about the recession. Doesn't even know what Facebook is. And trickier still, he doesn't know me. He still makes a lot of cock jokes, and they'll still make me laugh. It's just, I've heard them all so many fucking times. Quite annoying.
After A-levels, I went on to art college, then a degree in fashion and literature design. I was the first in my family from barmaids, steelworkers, miners, to sit A-levels, let alone go to university. Father and I'm the boss. Mom cried when I graduated. It was because she was proud. Might have been because of Lee, because he didn't graduate. I got a job, assistant clothes designer. I made my way up, and after 5 years, I became the head of a company you guys would have heard of. Actually, some of you guys probably were my stars. Actually, some of you guys still are. I did that, and then I became a mom to a latch curly girl, Grace. We named her Grace. I went back to work when Grace was 5 months, and I hated it. I hated it because I hated leaving Grace in nurseries and as well as the final straw. The job I worked for, studied for, loved for all those years, and now I hate it. So after a lot of stuff and a year of saving every penny, I went back to university to retrain as a teacher. Like I said, no one in my family will do, so I thought, let me have some couple of goes. I did that, and now I am in my first full year of teaching technology and design. I never missed my old life as a clothes designer. I found one career I love so much, I can't believe I found two.
I carry on. Carry on because I can't find a way to stop.
Mrs. Davies, I don't know if... Of course you remember me.
Hardly likely to forget.
Come on, Mags, your turn!
So if you're eating, why not eat with your mom?
But then it's Becky.
Just a fucking cup of chips!
Becky. Typically bloody inconsiderate. Goes in as a little girl. Grace. And she hugs trees. Throws her arms around them and kisses the bark. She loves animals. We take her to the petting zoo. Or she sees a cat on the street, she'll stroke it. And some kids are rough, but she's so gentle. And she comes around here. And she doesn't like the door closed when she's on the toilet. She likes to open so she can talk to me from the kitchen. And I've got all these paintings and pictures up on the side of the fridge. And she was sitting there last week, and she was saying, isn't it nice, Nan? Seen all these paintings and pictures I've done when I was just a little girl. She's 5. She's 5 until the world can't end. Not until she's finished with it.
I start volunteering for a charity that's there to listen to people when they are in despair or distress. That's all we do. Just let people get things off their chest when everything feels too much. This kid comes in one day and he's pissed off about a lot of things, and what often happens when someone is angry is they take it out on the nearest person, and the nearest person is me. And he says,
What the fuck is wrong with you? Who the fuck would sit here listening to a twat like me? Why the fuck would you do that?
and I wonder what it is. What makes me do it? What makes me get up 4:45 in the morning, bike ride through the rain and wind, put in 3 hours listening to sobbing strangers and the occasional pervert, all before a full day of work? What is it? What is it that makes you do it?
I was a bit impatient with her. I think I had to be. There was years when we didn't even speak to each other, didn't even look at each other, but then what the fuck are you doing?
What she tell you?
You can't just let her lie down like that.
She was grizzling on her back, and so I put her on her front, and not people for hours.
The risk of cot death is absolutely when the baby is lying on the front. Such an
You slept on your front. You were alright. Actually, they used to say babies had to sleep on their
They
front.
say different now.
But if they were sick in their sleep on their back, they could choke. I remember the health visitor telling me now. Snidey little bitch.
For Grace up 6 loads. For Grace 6 up loads.
I know.
So she could choke.
Put her on her front.
Then it's cot death.
Split the difference. Pop her on her side.
I'm just going to have to watch her.
All night.
I'm going to sit up, watch her, make sure she breathes and doesn't choke. That's absolutely the answer.
I'll get you coffee. Been nice seeing you.
And you?
Don't leave it so long next time.
No.
I mean, I get why you've done it, but just don't.
I might be back a bit more now.
That'd be nice, because it helps sometimes to remember the good things.
Yeah, of course.
And you were the love of his life.
Mrs. Davies, I don't think I was.
Of course you were. No, you wouldn't have been. But how things stood, you were what he got. And because of you, he knew how it felt to be held and hugged and loved.
I wasn't...
You weren't what?
You know, it was my fault.
It was an accident.
I did something horrible. I said horrible things. It was
No,
because of me.
no, shut it. Just shut up. I know what happened that night. That night, my son did something stupid, selfish and reckless. He done that sort of stupid, selfish, reckless thing teenagers do every day. And 99 times of 100, they get away with it. He didn't. Because of that one time it all went to fuck. And it's not nice. It's not fair. But there's no reason why. It was just the worst possible of luck. And I can say all that. And I believe it, more or less. But if you say to me, if you tell me what happened, if you put me there in his head, if you made me feel how bad he felt, and ask me to what? Forgive you for it.
I go into it quite realistic, thinking that there'll be good times and bad. But the truth is, me and Alex never argue. Just never do. He won't allow it. But except from this one time when I tell him the whole story about Lee and how much of a selfish twat he was. And he says, right, you are so hard on him because you blame yourself. And I say, sorry, what the fuck? And he says, of course you blame yourself. I know I would. We argued that night for basically all the night, in fact.
Back then, looks like, didn't have milk at the end of the road. I just fancied a drive.
Right.
And then a trip home.
For a week.
I had some people to catch up with. Might have rung. I left my charger behind.
Might have borrowed someone else's phone or used a landline.
I don't have your number.
Might have emailed. Might have Skyped. Might have poked me on Facebook to let me know you were alright. 97% of first-class mail reached its destination by the following day, so you could have sent me a postcard if you'd liked, but you didn't.
And that's just me, a free spirit.
Because once you take something like that, you let someone drive off without a word and stay away as long as they like, well, they've won, because they know that you'll take anything then. You just have to hope they come back with something good and not because they want to use you and torment you to work off their unresolved hurt.
Anyways, I know what you did. You done something stupid, selfish and reckless. You done that sort of stupid, selfish, reckless thing teenagers do every day. And 99 times out of 100, they get away with it. Didn't you?
I suppose.
So then, let yourself get away with it.
I used to make up stories about what Lee would have done, who Lee would have loved. I spent ages. Like, they were so detailed, so intricate. Like, there were actual bibliographies, pages and pages of typing. Alex found them once, and, well, he cried. He's not the type to. And then he said, you should do something with those. So I did. I put them in the shredder with our bank statements.
Just another night of carnage in the big end. Great for a few hundred blurry photos on Facebook and hungover gossip in the morning.
He wasn't an angel, but he was a decent lad. And all anyone can remember now is that he died. And I wish you could have met him.
No, it never gets better. That moment when you realize he's gone, it never goes. And it never gets easier.
I'm alright. I'm not amazing, but I'm alright. I can say that.
With Grace, I started to see what Mom went through. Because when you're young, all you know is you're here. You don't know the meaning of someone's character. So you start moving inside them, for your foot poking into the belly. Then you push it and you push back. You don't even know how to start. A lot goes to your kids. But when you're kids, you don't see this. You don't remember the care it took to make you. So you're careless with yourself. And there's going to be days when you feel like you're worth nothing, but the very fact you're here means you're worth something to someone. And you just have to fucking hold on to that.
He says, you promised me. He says, you promised me I'll wake up. And I say, to my own son, close them eyes, baby boy. And Mum will be here when you wake up. And I still am. I still am.
She got better in the end of the day. You won't see it day to day, bro. You have to sit down and think how she was 6 months ago or 1 year ago. I'm going to get some chips. What do you want next to it?
Ask them if there's haddock or cod. If there's haddock, alright. If there's cod, don't bother. What?
You're just so fucking fussy.
They say that time is a healer, but they lie. Because time doesn't work after something like that. Time gets all jumbled up. Because that moment when you realise he's gone, it never goes. It's happening now. It's happening again. And in my head and my heart, it's still going. What time does, it brings you stuff. It brings your daughter back. It brings your grandchild. It brings you grades.
Mags, it's your turn. You're going to You ready?
No.
I've got a fire in my heart for you. I've got a fire in my heart for you. I've got a fire in my heart. Though I'm falling apart, still I've got a fire in my heart for you. I've got pins and needles for you. I've got pins and needles for you. You've got needles and pins and the 7 deadly sins. Still I've got a fire in my heart for you.
And
I don't know.
I just told you I love you and you don't know.
I have like 1 second to think about it.
Of course. Leave me hanging.
How do you know you love me?
I think about you all the time and I think you're amazing, and in case you haven't noticed, I'm the one who comes after you when you stroke off out of the pub. So,
You're a lot easier to talk to. A lot easier than Lee.
you know what we have to do?
What?
We have to kiss. And how we feel in our bodies will let us know.
I can't. I can't. I can't. I'm with Lee. I can't. Sorry, I can't believe I was about to kiss you. Sorry.
Well,
Well, what? I was about to kiss you. I've got to tell Lee.
I know. Oh. I know.
I can't believe it's finally happening. After all this time. Love.